Hello and welcome to CATSweek. I'm Annalise Poorman. On February 9th, the Monroe County Election Board continued their discussion on polling site locations for the 2023 primary election. Board member Donovan Garlitz introduced the resolution to approve the polling sites for 2023 without a location in Steinsville.
First item on the agenda is approval of polling sites for 2023 municipal primary election. We are able to do that now because as of last Friday, we found out about Steinsville. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly? Okay.
Monroe County Chief Deputy Clerk Tree Martin gave updates on the upcoming election in May.
Okay, the updates. In this coming election in May, we have 51 precincts in the primary. The viewing of the ballot will be on Wednesday, February the 15th from 9 to 4, and that will be at 401 West 7th Street, Suite 100. If you would like to work in the election or even early voting, you can go to monroecountyvoters.us, and we have both recruiters' names and emails on that website. Your next deadline that we have to meet is on this coming Friday. If you are withdrawing from the election, you have until noon to get the paperwork to us. If you want to challenge someone on the ballot, you have until the 23rd at noon to challenge them.
The next election board meeting will be held on March 2nd. The Monroe County Board of Health met on February 9th. During public comment, Monroe County resident Andrea Ford expressed concern about Senate Bill 4.
Wanted to come here today because I know that there are things being discussed at the state level, and they clearly affect every community throughout Indiana. And the things being discussed at the state level are quite concerning. And I was at the state last week and testified at SB 4. And it was clear that the senators were completely unaware of Governor Holcomb's Public Health Commission and their meetings that they hold. And these are the people voting on what happens throughout all the local communities and counties. So there's a video, you can see public video of Governor Holcomb's Health Commission. And there was a meeting from June of 2022. And in this meeting, the commission is sitting around a table and they're active. I don't know, have any of you seen that video? And they're actively talking about coercing counties into opting into this new restructuring that they're coming up with, where counties are going to accept funding in order to opt in to this new program. And in this discussion, the committee is talking about they don't want any counties to opt out. It is very clear that they want every county in this, which is a centralized public health at that point, when every county is under the same umbrella. So we're looking at centralizing the public health throughout the state, which is a very scary matter.
Next, Monroe County resident Ananya Manny asked the board questions about their stance on Senate Bill 4 and if they would be willing to turn down the financial incentives.
And are you prepared to turn down the funding to avoid losing autonomy in this process? Like, that's one of the, that's the kind of question that I think the board needs to address to the citizens. And and also, like, do you have any other kind of rebuttals so as like people who are opposed to SB 4, like what can be, what's your stance, like why people should be opposed or should not be opposed? What's the Monroe County Health Commission's kind of remarks on those? So those are my 4 questions.
Okay.
Board member Carol Tolukian responded that she could not answer his questions yet, since the board has not discussed it together.
Yeah, thank you for your questions. And like I said, we as a board have not discussed this yet, but we will. Okay. And we obviously need a lot more information before we're ready to take a stance on that.
Health Department Director Lori Kelly gave updates on the Futures Clinics initiative to use a free program that will remind clients about their appointment the day before they are scheduled to come in. Tolukian commented that no-shows are a common problem without a reminder system in place.
For the Futures Clinic, they are working on beginning a Google appointment text reminder system. The system is free to use, and we hope to be able to reduce the amount of no-shows in the clinic by using this tool.
Kelly also gave an update on lead training for the staff. Tolukian asked if the lead screening would only be available at the Public Health Clinic Pediatricians Group and expressed concern that children who go to different clinics won't receive the service.
Staff have been attending lead training this week. They did pick up the XRF machine, and they are doing some training, practicing, getting some samples for that.
So we're actually doing this, the leads here?
Out of this office, yes.
Wow.
Yes, so
That's
that's
good.
something new with the new lead grant that we have. So we have the machine now. We're going to be working with the Public Health Clinic to set up standard operating procedures for the nursing staff with the environmental staff when they go out to do the assessments.
So, so these samples are, what are these samples coming from? The one, so,
Wall, like paint.
okay,
Mhm.
so you're not doing screening for, of kids? Nothing.
Our side will handle the people side.
Okay, so because here's what, I think the pediatricians do screening, no problem. Because they see kids like all the time. I think some of these smaller family practice type offices, I don't know what IU Health is doing. I don't know if you've worked with them at all in terms, I'm just concerned about some of the kids that, I mean, if they're seen by, you know, the pediatricians group, that's not an issue.
Right,
But there's kids seen in other offices as well,
right.
who
So-
probably don't have the, you know, the ability to do lead screening. And I think this is an important thing for them to know about, that they can,
Right,
that they can send, so I think you need to
yes.
connect with them.
Interim manager for Monroe County Public Health Clinic, Zara Cortiga, explained their outreach plans to ensure that more residents would be able to take advantage of the service.
And we have started sharing, the nurse that handles our lead cases at our clinic has started putting together media pieces, flyers, things that we're sending out to the schools. Something I didn't share is that March 11th, we're doing that's a Saturday, we're doing a kindergarten focused vaccine clinic at Miller Drive.
Yeah.
Alongside, we are offering lead testing to anyone that stops by. But further information will be shared to all the schools,
Right.
indicating that anyone that doesn't have a primary care physician at the PEDS office.
At the February 8th meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, Monroe County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Phil Parker gave an update regarding the maintenance of the county jail.
That helps.
Thank you.
Okay.
Questions or comments?
No, just very pleased that things are moving forward.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to go ahead and add at this point that, yes, we met last week with people in the jail. That included Sheriff Marte, Chief Deputy Parker, and Jail Commander Gibbons, along with some other members of the staff or the legal staff, and County Councilors Cheryl Munson and Jennifer Crosley. And it was generally agreed that the jail staff is responsible for cleaning, including in keeping the toilets clean and unclogged, painting, installing clocks, and simple light maintenance such as changing out light bulbs. Some of this work will be performed by jail inmates under the supervision of jail staff. And as Chief Deputy Parker just indicated, the sheriff is in the process of applying to have that position of jail technician created, with the understanding that if such.
County Commissioner Penny Githens commented on Parker's report and outlined what current and future maintenance of the facility would look like and who would perform it.
I'd like to go ahead and add at this point that, yes, we met last week with people in the jail. That included Sheriff Marte, Chief Deputy Parker, and Jail Commander Gibbons, along with some other members of the staff or the legal staff, and County Councilors Cheryl Munson and Jennifer Crosley. And it was generally agreed that the jail staff is responsible for cleaning, including in keeping the toilets clean and unclogged, painting, installing clocks, and simple light maintenance such as changing out light bulbs. Some of this work will be performed by jail inmates under the supervision of jail staff. And as Chief Deputy Parker just indicated, the sheriff is in the process of applying to have that position of jail technician created, with the understanding that if such a position is approved and someone is hired, this person will oversee inmate workers and will do light maintenance in the areas where inmates are not allowed. The commissioners are responsible for standard building maintenance. This includes the actual building, mechanical and electrical maintenance, drains, roof, etc. With the problems recently identified in the jail, the commissioners are responsible for patching the edging along the shower stalls, replacing the cast iron drain in the laundry area, and replacement of the vent fans in the jail. Some of this work, such as repair of a toilet and changes to the drive in the sally port, have already been accomplished. So I think we are moving forward, and I appreciate being able to work with the sheriff and his staff on these things.
Next up, the council considered a funding request by Riverway Plumbing to replace drain lines at 2 locations of the county jail. County Fleet and Building Manager Richard Kreider presented the motion to the board.
The cast iron laundry drain pipes are prone to clogging due to pipe sizing and poor interior condition. They require occasional cleaning with a drain machine. The waistline below has become damaged due to vibration from the drain machine. This request is to approve the proposal submitted by Riverway Plumbing in the amount of $3,420 to replace drain lines at 2 locations in the jail, the cast iron drain pipe servicing the laundry equipment, and a portion of the waistline below the laundry and kitchen areas.
The council approved the proposal unanimously. And we'll have more Cats Week after this message.
For hurting families in Monroe County.
A contribution to children who are vulnerable and in need of an advocate.
A staff that goes above and beyond to support and advocate for children in need of services.
The web of remarkable people who are dealing with difficult situations.
So many young people that are in need of help and trying to find a stable family, a stable place to live. Without the CASAs to make that happen, many of them would be unable to find a good home.
I love being that voice for the child who can't speak for themselves in court.
It takes me out of my comfort zone, and it also helps others.
CASA means supporting our community.
Being a CASA is making sure that your village is healthy and whole, and that the children in your village will someday be able to help the village as well.
A child who doesn't have a voice, maybe in their family situation or a school situation, now has a voice that can advocate for them.
I really enjoy working with children that are going through difficult times and letting them know that I care about their future.
We are privileged with our charge of representing the best interest of children. And so therefore we can advocate for exactly what they need without restriction, focusing on their best interest.
I want to repair the world one child at a time.
Welcome back to Cats Week. At the Monroe County Personnel Administration Committee meeting on February 7th, Sheriff's Department Chief Deputy Phil Parker asked the committee to approve the creation of a position to maintain the jail facilities.
Well, very, very briefly, it is simply a position that we're requesting to be created that will handle the routine general maintenance of the facility to help keep the facility clean as we progress forward and keep it in a condition where it's clean and sanitary. If I can just put it in a nutshell, it's that simple.
Committee member Marty Hawk asked Parker about the hours of the position. Parker responded that it would be a full-time position at 40 hours per week. He added that it will require flexible hours.
This job, I guess we had to put something in there as the normal, but this job really won't have normal hours. It's going to be very, very, very flexible. It will fluctuate with the needs of the jail, possibly on a weekly basis. So this person is going to have to be very, very flexible. It could be weekends, it could be evenings, it could be, all of the above.
The committee agreed to continue to work on the position together, finalize it, and send the position to WIS in the next 7 days. During the Community Justice Response Committee meeting on February 6, Monroe County Circuit Court Judge Catherine Stafford opened the meeting by pointing out commonalities among the committee. Stafford said that focusing on these common goals could help the committee to be more efficient.
My message to Commissioner Givens, and one she wanted me to talk about, I think, here today, is that I think we have more agreement than we think on where to go. And if we focus on that, I think we can make perhaps some progress. And the areas of agreement that I feel we have, and if you disagree with me, of course, please feel free to say so, because I don't want to be wrong, or rather, if I am wrong, I'd rather know it, are these: that the current jail is not acceptable in terms of its level of constitutional care for inmates, that inmates are members of our society, and that we want to focus on rehabilitation rather than punishment, that we think that the current jail is not able to be renovated in a way that will meet that standard of care with the types of services that the commissioners want to offer and that the sheriff would like to offer. And that if we build a new facility, that the commissioners are in charge of the number of beds, that the council decides whether to approve funding, and that the judges decide whether to send people there. So it's good to have all of us here at the table so that we can have decisions that work together for all of us. I think most people at this table want a jail that is humane, that focuses on rehabilitation, and that is as close to services in the downtown area as is possible. My personal way of looking at that is if an inmate after release can walk to Centerstone or Shalom Center, then I feel better about our location. And obviously, I may be wrong on some of those, but I think that we all have a lot more common ground than we think. And I'm glad to be here at the table trying to get the best result we can for our county and for our society. Thank you.
During public comment, 2 members from the group, Care Not Cages, Becca Schwartz and Abby Ackrong, shared testimony about the federal government regulating county-level jails, a concern the CGRC has consistently brought up in previous meetings. Schwartz said that after conducting research on the matter, she believes Monroe County could never be forced to build a new jail by the federal government.
We are here today just to talk about a memo that we recently wrote, a legal memo about federal intervention with county jails that Care Not Cages requested that we look into, because we understand that maybe there was concern about federal intervention coming in and making the county build a jail that we wouldn't like, or making us build it faster than usual. So we did a little bit of research, and I printed off some of these memos to hand out to each of you if you'd like to take one. Before I say a little bit about it, we just wanted to read a little bit of a preliminary note. So this memo is intended to provide information regarding the process of federal intervention in county jails in light of stated CJRC concerns about federal intervention in the Monroe County Jail. We believe that the best option in addressing the concerns and considerations surrounding the jail should revolve around investing in safe housing for everyone, decreasing the number of individuals incarcerated, and refusing to criminalize behaviors centered around human survival. Thus, we believe that this information can help in contextualizing the concerns surrounding federal intervention in Monroe County, but not the larger problem of how to address the issue with the jail and the larger societal picture and impact. So we just wanted to preface it by saying we're responding to the concerns, but we would rather there be less jail and definitely no new jail. But basically our findings, to put it very simply, are that, as you all probably know, there is the ongoing settlement that's being overseen by the federal court from the ACLU suit. And so there is already a little bit of federal intervention. And the only way, or the way to keep that at bay, is to make sure that we're following the agreement to the settlement, which we have been doing. The reason the federal court is still overseeing it is because we haven't made a permanent solution. But that permanent solution does not have to be building a new jail, and building a new jail is not in the settlement agreement. Also, if the DOJ were to get involved, which I know was a concern, they Under the Prison Reform Litigation Act, the federal government can never force a county to build a jail. So they can settle and agree to build a new jail, which counties often do, but you don't have to. So Monroe County could never be forced into building a new jail by the federal government.
Former Deputy Mayor Don Griffin gave public comment saying that a new jail would be a years-long process, and he said the committee needs to act now to address the poor conditions of the current jail.
A new jail for Monroe County is several years away, which is why we absolutely cannot wait to address issues within our current jail as well as community issues that result in people going into the jail. Planning for a new future local jail should not hold up investing in the daily lives of people currently in the jail, as well as public health and restorative justice now. The swift action that Sheriff Marte is taking right now to address physical jail conditions is something I applaud and recognize as long overdue. This needs to be complemented by city, county, and community leader cooperation in addressing mental health and substance use disorder services, both for those incarcerated and those we want to help avoid incarceration. This is also urgent and needs to be addressed with comparable promptness. Every month, about 300 people are booked into Monroe County Jail, and for many of these folks, this is not the first time. Intervening in ways that keeps people from entering or re-entering the jail supports community justice in multiple ways. First, nobody should be stuck in a cycle of incarceration. Second, numbers do matter. The Monroe County Jail already tries to comply with an ACLU cap on inmates. Concerns about conditions are not new. By addressing the issues that put people in the jail, we can also address the numbers of people in that jail and better improve jail conditions. All of this needs to happen long before a new jail is built. It needs to start right now. Thank you.
Monroe County resident Renee Miller said that the justice system is flawed. She listed the negative impacts of incarceration and how it plays out on the local level.
Renee Miller, I'm a resident of Monroe County. Incarceration causes depressive disorders, anxiety disorders, and PTSD. So when we incarcerate 300 people a month, we're causing that harm. So I think it's important that we start focusing on the real definition of justice, particularly because this committee is now coined Justice Response Committee. The definition of justice is peace and genuine respect for people, and we've seen very little of that. As someone with lived experience, I would like to say, when I was in the system in Monroe County years ago, there wasn't much peace and genuine respect for people, and I'm not seeing it now. It is 100% hard to believe that the commissioners who did see the jail didn't know the condition of the jail. If every window was filled with the debris, that couldn't have been hidden. It had to have been seen. So when I hear statements like, oh, we didn't know, I find that hard to believe. I'm glad that the new sheriff has brought that to the public's attention. So now we can have a true outcry for movement in the proper direction. And I want to echo what my friend Don Griffin had to say. I just want to echo his comments also. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Later, the Monroe County Health Department presented the results of a CGRC survey. The key recommendations based on the survey included more communication, increasing diversion, addressing policy and systems, and more treatment options in the jail. The full presentation of the survey results can be found by visiting catstv.net. And that is all for Cats Week. Thank you for joining us. For Cats and WFHB, I'm Annalise Poorman.
you.